Hey, what's up everybody? It's Friday, so you know what that means. I'm answering your questions from the comments section, so buckle up and get ready. That's right, because it's Friday, I'm answering your questions from the comments section. So if you'd like your question answered on a video next Friday, I'm going to try to do this every single Friday, then leave a question in the comments section. I'll get to as many of them as I possibly can. You all are wonderful. You left me so many great questions this week. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all of them. We're going to try our best, and if we don't, maybe I'll roll them over to next week. So leave me your questions down below, and a big shout out to all of you who sent your questions in. So to help you become a better Fiverr seller, a better business freelancer, we're going to answer these questions right here. We're going to start with absolutely no ado-it-all. We're just jumping right in. Buckle up. Tenveer says, welcome back. We missed you. Well, thank you, Tenveer. I missed you all as well. I let you know last week how much this channel and community means to me. Good to be back. He says, it seems that nowadays Fiverr is banning a lot of promotion-related accounts, such as YouTube promotion, social media promotion, but they don't let sellers know why they've banned their accounts. Any ideas? Well, yes, I have some ideas. And in fact, I think that a lot of this has to do with a personal experience, Tenveer. This is, nowadays a lot of people, this has probably happened to you, right? We don't know how many people this is happening to, but we know it's happened to you. And so you're seeing a pattern because of your own experiences. So I don't know how true it is to say that this is happening a lot, but I will say that there are some categories that are more difficult to navigate legally, ethically, and within the terms of service for Fiverr than others. And if you're in one of those categories, you really have to go above and beyond to make sure that you're doing everything above board, ethically, the right way. For instance, in these promotional services, promotional accounts, things like YouTube promotion, social media promotion, there are a lot of people out on the web doing things poorly, wrongly. I don't know what they call that these days. They used to call it black hat or white hat techniques. I think there's a lot of people doing illegal stuff when it comes to YouTube promotions, Instagram likes, things like that you shouldn't be able to buy. And it's cheating the system, hacking the system in the way that they're provided. So my guess is that Fiverr is trying to distance themselves from those bad techniques, those unethical techniques, maybe the non-approved techniques for promoting and upping things like subscribers and likes and hearts and all that stuff. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be in those categories, but I'm just saying if you are in one of these categories, you have to know that there's a lot of controversy behind what you do and how you do it. And so Fiverr, along with everybody else, even Google does this for search rankings. YouTube does this. They'll take views away, likes away that look to be spam. They take them away. Everybody is paying attention to this because they want to be on the right side of the line, doing things that are above board, ethical, from good practices and rewarding people who have organically grown things. So that's just my opinion. Has very little to do with Fiverr, but a lot to do with how the web is built and things are promoted these days. So you just got to be careful if you're in one of those fields. But Tenveer, thank you for your question. Cyan Gaming asks, can you please tell me, can I put my portfolio in the gig description? This is a really touchy subject, I think. We've talked about many times how it's totally okay for you to send a link to your portfolio in an inbox message. So if you have maybe Google file drive, a Google Drive file or a folder or something you want to share with somebody, say, look at all these samples of my work. Maybe you have an online portfolio built up. That is totally fine. I do that all the time. I use YouTube for my portfolio in a lot of cases because I do videos and we host a lot of our portfolio images there. But we've also used, and I've used outside sites. And you just have to be careful when you're providing a portfolio link to other work that it doesn't appear as though you're pulling things from Fiverr. So if Fiverr follows that link and it says, order now, pay for this here, Fiverr is going to say, nah, no, that's not going to work. You can't send people to a page that would lure them to purchase somewhere else. But if it's strictly information, purely about displaying your portfolio. I've not seen Fiverr give me or anyone else any trouble about that. Now, putting them in the gig description, the problem is links don't work in a gig description. So you can put a link there, but they will have to copy and paste it into their browser in order to follow that link. In fact, in one of my gigs, I have some quick start real estate videos that we've already created and we customize for real estate agents. We actually have a link to the portfolio of all the videos you can purchase. And like I said, they're pre-made. And what I have to say in the description is copy and paste this link into your browser because they can't click on it in the description, either on the mobile app or the desktop site. It's just a weird little thing, but it's not weird if you think about it because Fiverr isn't really hoping that people will put links in their gig description. They don't want you to. They want everything to be on the platform. So can you do it? Yes. Will it be effective? Probably not. And you've got to really be careful and be mindful about what you're doing to make sure you're not breaking any of Fiverr's terms of service rules. Hope that helps. Amanda Moreland. Amanda says, welcome back, stranger. Well, good to be back, Amanda. Thanks for leaving your comment and your question. She says, I've got a lot of questions built up for you, but I'll start with just one. I qualified for top seller and have for a few months now. Do you have any additional insight on what they look for before approving you to be a top seller? My gigs are doing great, and I'm hesitant to go in and change them up. Amanda, this is a great question. One that a lot of people ask, and honestly, one that we don't have a lot of answers for. Fiverr is now hand-picking top-rated sellers. It used to be, back when I became a top-rated seller almost 10 years ago, it used to be an automatic upgrade. When you hit these qualifications, the computer said, boom, you're in, and now you're a top-rated seller. Well, what Fiverr began to see is that there was a saturation in the top-rated seller market. And that's why a long time ago, they changed it to a manual upgrade so that they could pick and choose top-rated sellers that they wanted, that essentially had the quality, the service, the level of production that they're looking for. And we don't really have a whole lot of insight other than that they tell us they're handpicking these to their specs. We don't know what the specs are, unfortunately. So the only thing you can do is keep doing what got you to those stats. You know, you said your gigs are doing great. I would be hesitant to change anything up either. Do what you've been doing. You're obviously being successful. If you are a top-rated seller, that means your sales are doing, or you've qualified for it. It means your sales are doing pretty good. So I wouldn't modify it just so Fiverr will notice you and upgrade you to a top-rated seller, because honestly, I don't think that would change your revenue a whole lot. Now, maybe it would if people are narrowing search to only top-rated sellers, but I just don't think a lot of people are doing that. Keep doing what got you here. Keep putting out the same quality. And if you find things that you want to tweak about it because you think it'll make your gigs better, then do that. But don't do it to try to catch Fiverr's eye. You know, at the very most, I would say maybe shoot new gig videos. You know, maybe you're able to present yourself in an even better light. But if your gig videos are already great, you know, where do you go from there? If they're fresh, maybe you don't have anything else to add. But if they're old, maybe refresh them. I wouldn't mess with your description and tweak all that stuff out all the time, because that can be detrimental to your rankings as well. So my 2 cents of advice. Hopefully that helps, Amanda. Muhammad Assad says, for the Q&A section of the episode, I want to know, how can we make our communication better while talking to our clients? And how do we talk effectively to a client in order to win a project? The sequence of communication with the buyer. Can you help me out? Mohammed, I would definitely say that you should look back in the archives and watch a few of my videos specifically related. These were early, so look back. I think you can even search all the videos. Look for communication with buyer video, things about how to respond in the inbox. I'll give you a quick rundown of what I think you should be doing. First and foremost, you need to make it personal. Look for someone's name. If they give you their name, use their name. Make it personal. Be prompt in your follow-up, making sure that it doesn't take, 24 hours or more for you to get back to them. That's a metric that Fiverr uses. But really, if you're a seller in an online platform like Fiverr and you can't get back to somebody in 12 hours, then you're probably going to have issues winning sales and closing deals. So I would say make your response time fast, make it personal. Then I think you absolutely have to come up with some really great quick responses that have a lot of detail and things that buyers are normally asking about that you can quickly modify to get them just an impressive amount of detail in the response very quickly, meaning that, I can click on there and in 5 minutes respond to somebody with a detailed description of like portfolio links and all this stuff. And with a few modifications, they've got a really personalized, informative message that I didn't have to spend 20 minutes putting together. So work on your quick responses. And really what you want to do all along the way, this is a real secret that I've talked about in past videos, is always be asking questions. ABAQ. Aback. Always be asking questions. I like that. Maybe I'll trademark that. Always be asking questions at the end of your messages, because if you are, then it gives that person a reason to respond. And the longer that text thread or that inbox thread is, the more likely someone is to buy from you. If they have one message and never come back, or you don't ask them anything or lead them to a next step, you're going to lose them. So ask questions, try to get them to respond to every single message, and hopefully that sequence will get you to more closes, more business, and ultimately more gigs sold. Thank you for your question. MAA Artwork asks, really glad you're back. Well, I'm glad I'm back too. Thanks for saying. I've become a level 2 seller since your last video, and your advice has really helped me. I'm really glad to hear that. That's why I do this. My question is, how do I scale up my business from Fiverr without breaking the TOS, terms of service, knowing that I don't have a presence on social media, even though I'm still trying to grow my accounts? This is a question we see people thinking about a lot, and it's something that I focused on with Patreon insiders last year a whole lot, and that's the sense that, like my experience, eventually you want your Fiverr business to lead to a real world business. Why? Well, because if something ever happened to Fiverr, maybe in a decade, Fiverr doesn't exist anymore. I don't know. I don't think that's the case. I hope that's not going to be the case. But if something ever happened to Fiverr, you want to have a business outside that's yours. Now, how can you use Fiverr to do that? The truth is you can't. There's no real direct way, staying within the rules and the confines of the TOS. You can't shoot people to your website to get direct orders that are leads off of Fiverr. You can't do that. What you can do is use what you're learning about customer communication and the process and all those things on Fiverr and put them to work outside. So I would say you need to build those social media followings. You need to get a website out there. You need to brand yourself as a business. In my case, I had to start spending money on things like AdWords and SEO to make sure that our website was a destination and not just something that we were sending people to, but something people were finding on their own when searching for services like ours. So if you want a business outside of Fiverr, use what you've learned on Fiverr to serve your customers, your new customers, and build a new brand outside. There's no way to connect them and turn a $50,000 a year Fiverr business into a $50,000 a year direct business because you shot them from one here. You can't do that. You'd be breaking the TRS and you'd be kicked off, or the TOS, and you'd be kicked off of Fiverr pretty quickly. So don't jeopardize what you're building on Fiverr by trying to do something silly or stupid, but use what you've learned on Fiverr to make any attempt or effort to build a direct, local, real-world business work even better. So thanks for your question. Nayab says, hey, Joel, welcome back. Thanks. Good to be back. Glad you're here and feeling better. I wasn't really feeling bad, but a little overwhelmed. But yeah, glad to be back. My question is, how do I get repeat business? Now, this is something I want to do an entire video on coming down the line here in the next, month or so, because Fiverr has now made repeat business an analytics tool for all of us to see and a way for them to judge our gigs, meaning how often do people come back and buy from you? How often do people come back and buy this gig, that gig? They give you a rating, and it's very straightforward. The reason Fiverr likes repeat business is because they don't have to acquire that customer again. Their cost of acquisition for the next spend is zero because they already know about Fiverr. They already know about you. Maybe they just come back directly. They didn't have to spend advertising money to get that person. Repeat business is always the best kind of business. So the question is, how do you start getting repeat business? Well, to start, you have to offer an excellent service. I mean, you really have to wow people, surprise and delight, people used to say back a decade ago. But, today it's about that wow experience. It's that I got more than I paid for, more than I expected, and more than I asked for. These are all things that make people want to come back. Having a smooth process, an on-time or just a little bit early delivery. I've done videos about that in the past. Things that make people go, wow, I would buy this again, or wow, I'm going to look for more ways to use this service in the future because it's so good. It starts with offering a very compelling process and a very good quality product at the end. So make sure that those things are true. And once they are true, then you have to ask yourself, hey, what kind of incentives do I want to offer or could I offer to people to come back? Everybody who's watched this channel knows my opinion about discounts. I'm not into discounts. I think we should make our rates, leave them where they are, and make everybody pay the same thing because that's the respect for your quality of work, for your time. If nobody wants to pay your rate, either your rates are too high or that person's not somebody you want to work with. But in any case, think about how you might actually help those stats by saying, hey, maybe if you offer a $100 service, hey, next time you come back, I'll give you $5 off as a repeat customer. That's not huge. That's not going to cut into your bottom line too much. Fiverr's going to take 20 of that 100. If you give another 5 as a discount off to the customer, maybe it'll entice them to come back. I would be very careful with those kinds of things because then people coming back all the time are going to expect more and more discounts. Hey, this is my 8th time with you. You need to stand your ground and have a really solid pricing model that doesn't leave a lot of room or need for discounts. But that's one way you could entice people to come back. Maybe you don't give them a discount, but you say, hey, I'll give you this extra little service for free. If you want me to do this, I'll do this extra thing for a returning customer. Whatever it is, think of a creative way that you might be more attractive the second way around to that buyer, and maybe add that into your delivery message. So good thinking that repeat business is the way to go because it is, and that's what you want and need to keep your Fiverr business growing in the future because Fiverr's watching that now. All right, thanks for your question. Next question is from Zanique. Awesome that you're back, Joel. Hey, thanks. It is awesome to be back. Unfortunately, the activity on my Fiverr page has gone down. So what I wanted to ask is, how do you revive a Fiverr account that used to be successful? This is a really interesting question because many people come back to Fiverr after time off, just like I took some time off here on YouTube. Sometimes people take time off from a side hustle, a gig. They say, I'm not going to do this for 6 months. Maybe they just had a baby and they want to take a few months off. And their once live and active Fiverr pages are now inactive. Impressions are down, traffic's down, all of those things. The only way to revive an old Fiverr account is the same way you would build a new one. It's activity, completed gigs, and ratings. Those are the things that you need. So if you're putting new information on your page, that's activity. Updating your tags, your titles, your gig description, your gig video, that's activity. That actually helps as long as you're not doing too much of it, then it can be detrimental. The second thing is you're delivering gigs. People are buying from you, you're delivering them, completing things. Fiverr likes to see that. And that third is the rating that you're getting from those people. Hey, completed the job, 5-star rating. This, put it in the bank. That's the only thing that will grow your page, your rank, your traffic on Fiverr. And I know it's kind of a catch-22. How do you get more traffic? Well, you have more traffic and get more reviews to get more. But the truth is, when you don't have that, you have to go out and find those people. So you're using buyer requests. You're out on social, driving traffic to your Fiverr page on your own. You're doing extra things to get people there so you can build that. Don't do anything stupid like message a bunch of sellers and say, hey, I'll do stuff for you. But, I delete those messages instantly. I know most other people do. But if you see a way to connect your services to someone out and you want to reach out in an authentic way, that's going to probably get you a better response. But you just got to get out there and, even though I hate the word, hustle to find some of those opportunities, because the only thing that's really going to grow a Fiverr page is activity, sales, and ratings. So you got to have those 3 things. Thank you for your question. Okay, so my light just went out on me. I've been talking for a long time, I guess, and it went out. Sorry if the color is a little bit different for the last 2 questions. So 2 more questions. We're going to get all of them in here. Navi asks, how do I set a price for my service and make it reasonable for the client and as a seller? And that's a really good question. I've got whole videos on how to price your services. Go check those out back in the channel. Look for them. They are there. But the truth is, you need to find out what's the range people are offering this service at. Is it anywhere from $50 to $150? Well, if so, you need to find out where your quality and experience puts you on that spectrum. Are you brand new and need to be closer toward the bottom of that range? Or are you the highest quality and need to be at the top or even above that range? You need to decide those things. So I guess my light decided that this video was over, or we're going to do a spooky ending to this video. All my batteries are dead, so I'm just going to fly with it. But like I said, go out and do your research. Make sure that you understand what the range for these services are, and then you can absolutely set a good price and get things done. So last question, in the dark, Halloween style. I love it. We're just rolling with it. How can I make more sales in the fourth quarter? What strategy do you use to handle a lot of orders at the same time and make all the clients satisfied? Well, I'm just going to answer the second part of that question because I think it's the best part of that question. How do you handle a lot of orders at a time? The truth is you just work hard. You have to pay attention. You're on all the time, or you need to get some help. That's what I did. Eventually, I got some help for this. It may be, people think often, oh, it would be a real blessing if I had a ton of orders, but it's also a really, really hard thing to handle. If you have a lot of orders, sometimes that means you need to raise your price. As demand for your services increases, so should your prices. And you need to make sure they're incremental and appropriate, but that's a sign that you need to raise your prices. But handling all of it just looks like hard work, long hours. You're checking messages morning, evening, and night. Maybe you're getting some help. It's a really hard process, but you'll never know how to handle it until you get there. So make sure that your systems, your processes, and your life is ready if you're getting to that point where you're getting busier and busier. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I guess this is a Halloween edition of Fiverr Talks with spooky lighting because my light went out, but thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. And if you want your question answered in next week's video on Friday, then leave a question in the comments down below. I will try my best to get to as many of them as I possibly can. I'll come back at you with a new video early next week. Can't wait to jump back into some really cool topics. Hey, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this content, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. You can subscribe for more videos right over there. And there's actually a playlist of videos right there that would really be great for you if you're looking for more tips on how to become a top-rated seller on Fiverr. So until next time, keep doing, because the future favors the doers.